So we got lucky with having a nice set of old school billet wheels on here from Colorado Custom. And they came in a 17 by, I think these are 8.5s. They are oxidized beyond belief. Even the brake, you know, kind of grease that's come out of the center cap is just baked onto this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these off, get them media blasted completely, and we're probably gonna end up Cerakoting them rather than polishing them again, and put some new tires on them as well when we go to lower this thing.
So these are actually replacement center caps from Colorado Custom. They have a deeper thread because the old set flew off on the freeway somewhere. And when we go to lower this, we're not just going to be putting on all the new Belltech parts. We're going to be replacing almost everything that you see here. We're going to be starting fresh because it hasn't been touched in 25 years. And we know that the wheel fitment is okay. Not going to have any issues there. We are going to be going to a smaller tire, and it's one that's more square. And one of the reasons is because the turning geometry is going to slightly change. We don't want any issues with rubbing like here on the sway bar. We're going to be putting a thicker sway bar on here anyways, so don't want any of those issues. Don't want any issues rubbing or hitting the inner fender. So we're going to put some smaller tires on. We're going to put brand new bushings, brand new ball joints in the control arms. And we're also going to be replacing the stock tie rods. Everything on here is going to be brand new and fresh. And the tires that are on here are actually now a little bit bigger than they would have been stock. So you can see the difference of the new size, smaller tire that are going to be going on and just how much fender gap we're going to have to make up.
The wheels behind me might look a little bit different than when we saw them on the Tahoe a little bit ago. So we could have taken them off, got them fully stripped down, and sent off to an industrial polisher to get them all polished out. But then a couple months later, we might be back in the same situation, keeping them polished, keeping them nice. And honestly, I kind of like a little bit more of a subdued look, and that's kind of what we're going for with this Tahoe, where everything's a little more blacked out, a little more sleek. So we're actually going to be Cerakoting them. There was a lot of curb damage and curb rash that we actually took it over to Jason's Wheel Repair in Chino, cleaned it all up, they welded in and filled some spots around the bead that needed to happen, and they got them looking, pretty much brand new. Of course, they were still hammered on the polish, so we actually had these sandblasted rather than having them chemically stripped because we wanted a little bit of this texture. Kind of a little bit reminder of the old mag style wheels, a little traditional. Obviously these are 100% 90s style wheels, so kind of mixing things up a little bit and giving a little bit different look. We're gonna be going with Cerakote's titanium finish. Kind of gives a little bit of a charcoal look, but has kind of a warmer tint to it. So it's gonna look a little different than usual. It's an air cure, air dry. So all you need is kind of a standard Iwata gun to spray it like you would any other automotive paint. We're spraying it outside, plenty of ventilation, but you are still gonna wanna wear a mask because this stuff's pretty caustic. Now, because we want the texture to stay on here, we're not gonna be scuffing this down or anything, but we wanna make sure that there's no, any of the media blasting, debris still left in there, no oil, no grease, especially with the Cerakote.
When it comes to Cerakote, there's no two-part mixing like it is with a paint job. But you definitely want to shake it up and stir it to make sure everything's nice and even. And you're definitely going to want to pour it through the provided strainer.
We're gonna have to leave these hanging for a couple days so they can fully cure and dry because they're not going into an oven. But after that, should be able to get them mounted up to the tires and bolted onto the Tahoe.
What worked out perfectly is a set of 235/60/17 tires from Nitto. These tires are 28 inches tall and just over 9 inches wide. It's going to be a fairly square look on the Colorado Custom wheels. Now the inch smaller tires are going to bring the body down about 1/2 inch, create 1/2 inch more wheel gap. So we're going to be lowering it 4 inches in the front, 4 inches in the rear with a Belltech kit.
It's always good to measure where your starting point is. It's always good to measure where your starting point is. Otherwise, how do you know where you've been if you don't measure it? So we're gonna take a look here. One thing you're gonna find with the GM trucks and a lot of trucks in general is that all 4 measurements are probably gonna be a little bit different. You've got a gas tank on this side, you know, the more weight that's on one side than the other and that. So we're pretty much 32 all the way around. So let's see what this one is. Yeah, this one's a little less, 31 3/4. So we'll record that. 31 3/4. And after we put the drop in, we'll do it again.